Yakima Valley, fruit bowl of the nation, has benefited from the Yakima-Tieton Irrigation Project. One of the chief engineers who worked on and constructed part of the project was Guy Finley. This is the story of Guy Finley and his contribution to the project.
I was born on October 8, 1883, on a small Ohio farm. Although I did not go through high school, I was determined to go to college. I worked hard to meet the entrance requirements and enrolled in Ohio State in 1905. Running short of funds, I came to Yakima, Washington in June of 1907 and got a job with the U.S. Reclamation Service as a timekeeper on a Tieton Irrigation Project. In 1908, I returned to Ohio State and graduated 2 years later with a degree of civil engineering. In 1912, my new wife and I made Yakima our home, and I took a job on the Tieton project as irrigation manager. Later, I became project manager. During my 15 years with the Reclamation Service, I saw the Tieton project grow to a major irrigation system, including 2 dams and miles of canals.
The Tieton Irrigation Project includes 32,000 acres on the south side of the Tieton Canyon. Irrigation changed this valley from sagebrush and jackrabbits into what is now a top-producing apple region. President Teddy Roosevelt signed the Reclamation Act in 1902, which set off many questions regarding water rights in our valley. A group of locals set out to investigate the water rights of the people, and from March 1903 through 1905, they investigated the water issue. On October 16, 1905, their group submitted the results of their investigation to Mr. D.C. Henney, Secretary of the Interior. The report was dated March 15, 1906, and was approved on March 27, 1906. This was the real beginning of the Tieton Irrigation District. The Board of Directors recommended setting aside $1 million towards the construction of the Yakima-Tieton Irrigation Project. A single bid was received for the project and was submitted by Theodore Weisberger of North Yakima. Mr. Weisberger became short of funds, resulting in delays, so the bid was presented 4 more times without any luck. The Reclamation Service finally stepped in and took over the work in the fall of 1906.
First thing we did was to build a wagon road following the route of the Tieton River. When completed, this road was 15 miles long and included 5 bridges. Disaster struck in the winter of 1906. A flood wiped out the new road.
In the spring of 1907, construction camps were set up along the right-of-way, and road work began once again. Construction of the main canal and tunnels was done without the advantage of power equipment. All materials and supplies were hauled by horses and mules. To make matters worse, the location of the canal was on the steep side slopes of the Tieton River Canyon. In 1907, a general contract was given covering the manufacturing and placing of the concrete pipe shapes. The shapes were cast in 2-foot long by 4-inch thick concrete sections, which were 8 feet in diameter and consisted of an incomplete circumference measuring 240 degrees. The concrete forms were made on flats along the river and transported to the canal site by tramways and other methods. When these forms were properly placed in position, they were cemented together. The manufacturing of the open canal section began on April 21, 1908. The open section of the canal ran along the side of the canyon, which was quite crooked and through all types of materials such as earth, loose rock, slide rock, and heavy basalt. This open section was done mainly by hand labor. The tunnel sections began on May 16, 1908, and were cut through solid rock by hand labor and blasting. The largest tunnel is the North Fork Tunnel, which is 3,810 feet long, and the Steeple Tunnel is the smallest, being 100 feet long.
We decided, due to the steep mountainside, that the canal should be protected.
A system of spillways was set up with alarms on each spillway. Altogether, 5 spillways were set up at 2-mile intervals. Due to spring floods, snow melts, and erratic flows, there was a need to regulate the daily flow of the Tieton River. So the Clear Lake Dam was built in 1914. This dam is located about 20 miles above the headgates of the Tieton Canal and only stores about 5,400 acre-feet of water. Construction of a larger dam, Tieton Dam, was started under the supervision of Guy Finley in 1918. This construction was finished after World War I.
The entire project was irrigated in 1912, and I was the manager of the project until 1917. It soon became evident that the system was not large enough, so I designed a proposal for enlargement of the main canal. I propose that we add 16-inch extensions on the sidewalls of the concrete flumes. In 1916, the Denver office of the Bureau of Reclamation approved the plan, and about 1 mile of the canal was raised that year. The Board of Trustees and myself inspected the extensions and were pleased with the results. The raising of the sides continued and was completed in 1918. I consider this to be the greatest event of my career.
The labor conditions in these early years were much different than at present. There were no labor unions and no state inspections of safety or sanitary conditions. No limits were set on the number of people in bunkhouses. An example of this was the tent houses, which were 18 feet by 24 feet and accommodated 24 men. Labor was either of the hobo or so-called short-stake type man, and consisted of foreign nationalities working under a labor contractor.
When the Tieton Canyon work was under full activity, we had about 600 laborers employed, and our monthly payroll showed about 1,800 names.
There were 3 shifts working. 1 crew would be coming, 1 working, and 1 leaving. This whiskey stiff type of labor was only interested in getting enough money for the next trip to town and didn't care much about their housing or work conditions. For those who stayed for longer periods of time and for winter use, wooden bunkhouses were built at the camps. The YMCA also provided recreation, but few showed any interest in the activities. Meals cost 25 cents each day and included a pound of meat and more than enough food for each person. A camp hospital was located in the River Canyon for treatment of minor accidents or illness. But for more serious injuries or illness, people were sent to Yakima. Most patients were just interested in getting back on their feet and leaving the job. Common laborers were paid approximately $2 for an 8-hour day. They worked 6 days a week with 1 day off for washing and other personal chores. An important date for the Yakima-Tieton Irrigation District was February 14, 1947. On that Valentine's Day, the Board of Directors made the final payment to the Secretary of the Interior.
The total, paid over 37 years, was almost $3.5 million, which was about 3.5 times more than we originally planned. Even so, we were the first irrigation district to pay off its construction loan with the federal government.
Guy Finley's outstanding effort during his career with the U.S. Reclamation Service has earned him many awards and much recognition. His efforts, as well as those of many others, have contributed to the development of a lifeline of water for the growing agricultural area of the Central Washington region. The pioneering spirit of men like these has created the backbone of what today is our great state. The Yakima-Tieton Irrigation Project is just one of many irrigation projects in Washington state. However, it has proven to be the lifeline to the valley.